Thank you for listening to the Golden Hour Drip podcast with me, Logan Lee Miller. Enjoy the show. You know what I have been loving on social media lately? The trend, or not trend, I guess it's the sound that says, how hard can it be? Men do it. And then it like repeats itself and it's like this realization of how hard could it be? Men do it. And I just want to say, my philosophy has always been, I can do anything. My parents instilled at a very, very young age that I quite literally could do whatever I wanted, and I was to pursue my dreams and try out for whatever I wanted, be whoever I wanted. They've always just had this confidence in me, and as an adult, I carry that, right? Like, I have the confidence, I can do anything. Like, I can show up in the best way possible for myself. If I want to try something new, I'm going to go after it. And this has just been internally me, right? I can do whatever I want as a source of it's all on me. But when I heard this sound, I was like, how hard can it be? Men can do it. Because there are some things that I, although I'm very confident in myself, I think, oh my gosh, that's kind of like a male dominated thing. I don't know if I actually can do that, right? I have this self-sabotage, this self-doubt. And although I love men and the men in my life, it really did dawn on me oh my gosh, women can do so much, and we are balancing a lot of things. And there's some things in our household, we are very traditional, as in usually I'm the one who is doing our laundry. Garrett does laundry every once in a while, but normally I'm the person who's doing the laundry. And back before we used the little pods, we actually use the disc. I love the little disc. I think it's Oxy something. It is my favorite. It smells so good. I love it over the Tide Pods. But before we use that, we had the regular, you pour it in a container and dump it into your washing machine. It's a liquid. And I remember watching Garrett one time fill up the container of dishwasher liquid, and not dishwasher, I'm so sorry, laundry machine, the detergent, and filled up the cup, probably double, if not triple the amount that actually it would need. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, do you usually use that much when you are doing laundry? And he's like, yeah, I want to make sure they're clean. I'm like, first off, that can cause a residue in your clothes. It's wasteful. I was like, you do not need that much. And it's simple things like that, something that is a part of my routine. I've known from a very young age how much laundry detergent goes in a washing machine. It's just very inherent. I know it because it's part of my routine. It's part of my day to day. And when I think about that's not the thing. When I think about the things that are so second nature to me, where it's oh, I can do that. That's so easy and simple. And then I think, oh, if they can do it, right? If men can be assertive, I can be assertive, because I know how men, my husband, my siblings, my father, my brothers, whatever, I know how that they are in the household. And it kind of took away any sort of pedestal that I put men on, as in now we're more equal. I don't know, and it really took the sound of just saying, if men can do it, I can do it. I know I can do this, because if I, how hard can it be? Men do this every day. I'm like, interesting. Sounds like a plan. And that has been, honestly, in my head on repeat. It's how hard can this be? I can do anything, but really, how hard can it be and I have always used this phrasing, not if men can do it, but if they can do it, I can do it, which might be a better phrase, right? If they can do it, I can do it. Because whenever I was struggling in school or with a subject or something, And there was a person who was like, oh yeah, like I hardly ever study, I just do it, but they don't inherently like come off as like a good student. I used to like hit myself over the head, not literally, but like figuratively. Like I would be doing my homework and being like, how the heck do they get this and I don't get this? Like if they can do it, I can do it, and I should be picking this up quicker. But I just think that sound is so fun. And the more I hear it, the more I'm like, no, really, like our limitations are all in our mind. Like when we like kind of unleash the shackles and we stop holding ourselves back or allowing a mental block to stop us from doing what we truly want to do, like how powerful is that? Like I no longer see something that's maybe inherently male or female and think, oh, like that's for me or that's not for me. I now think I can literally do anything. And I've always kind of thought this, so this just like helps concrete that into my mind. But really and truly, like if they can do it, I can do it. I have a brain in my head. I said that is like literally my mantra. I literally go, I can do this. I have a brain in my head. I am a smart girl. I am adaptable. I am able to adjust and get stuff done. So take that as you will. Maybe you don't have the confidence in yourself, but confidence is literally saying that you're going to do something and following through. So if you can just trust yourself in that way, you will slowly build confidence in yourself, and then you will think, oh, if they can do it, I can do it too. And speaking of confidence, I have had not high confidence. Well, okay, I got a chemical peel this past week. I had an appointment set for Tuesday, and I was like, great, Tuesday, you know, I work from home, nobody's going to see me, I don't have any activities. By the third or fourth day, it should be completely like peeled off, all the things, right? And it got rescheduled due to weather, and I did not have my chemical peel until Thursday, which kicks off the weekend. Amazing, so good. I had plans for this weekend, and I have never gotten a chemical peel. I actually like did not know what to expect. I did not know what it was going to feel like or what was going to happen. So I got my chemical peel on Thursday, and they put a serum, a product, or whatever. I did the VI peel, and that's what my medical spa offers. And it's kind of like a tanning solution where it has the color marker in it, like the dye marker, where you can see where you've applied the serum, the product, the whatever. And I had to leave it on for 4 hours. So I went in at 12 and I was like, okay, like already excited, like didn't really know what to expect. I have done like a vitamin C injection before. I've done a scarlet treatment. Like I've had plenty of facials, hydrofacials, dermaplaning, all the things. And I was like, okay, like this is one more thing that I could be doing to help my skin. I love my skincare. I love this time to myself. It's something that I prioritize and love so very much. So I go in there, I lay on the bed, I'm like, all right, you know, cool. And she's starting to apply the product, and she's like, this is the acetone. Fun fact, did not know that they put acetone on your face for a chemical peel, but essentially it helps like take away any impurifications on your face. She did first like cleanse my face and then put the acetone on it. And it is like medical grade acetone. I'm not sure if there's like a difference in acetones or whatever. I wouldn't imagine that's the exact same thing that you go to the grocery store or your drugstore and get for your toenails, but it could possibly be. So she puts that on and she's like, okay, perfect. Like we are going to start with the chemical peel part. And she put it on. She's like, it might feel like a little spicy, a little tingly. And it did, like it tingled a little bit. And she's like, all right. And we're going to wait until this dries. And then we're going to put like the second application on. I did not realize it was going to be orange. Like I did not realize it was going to be like a fake tan, like a very, very bad spray tan. And when she finished, she's like, okay, here you go. And I did vlog it a little bit. So if you follow me at Logan Lee Miller on YouTube, you can go see my vlog about my chemical peel, and see how orange it was, because it was psychotically orange. And I was like, all right, perfect. And she said, you can't rinse it or wash it off for 4 hours. So I came home, and before I got home, I texted Garrett. I said, all I want when I get home is compliments. Like, I just left it at that. Usually when I come back from the facialist, you know, my face could be red, or it could be extra moisturized. And Garrett's like, oh, like you look kind of like you have oil all over your face, right? Men don't get it sometimes. And I texted him and I was like, all I want when I get home is compliments. And I get home and he looks up, smiles, and says, how was your facial? And then goes back to his computer, not looking me in the eye. I was like, okay. At least he didn't laugh at me, right? It was very, very orange. And luckily after the 4 hours, I went and washed it off, and you could not see like any tint. Like, it did not impact my skin in a way with like dye. And then I had to, it came home with like a aftercare kit. It had a cleanser, it has hydrocortisone cream, and then it has sunscreen. And so those are the only 3 products I can use for the next 7 days. Cool, cool, cool. I have a lot of products, but I guess I'll just be using these. It's also dry out. It is so cold. And I was like, man, I really hope that this can be hydrating for my skin and it doesn't crack and burn and literally hurt so bad. And that's me saying it on day 4, knowing how the chemical peel is going. I really didn't have any expectations for it. I washed my face, and then I didn't see any peeling until Saturday. Saturday morning, no, actually Friday night, I took a shower, and the steam and the hot water really softened up my face, and I could feel like a little bit of tightness around my mouth. And I was like, okay, like it's starting to work, because not everybody peels with a chemical peel. Sometimes it is just, it peels some, but it's not like an actual like big peel. I don't know. Anyways, sometimes you don't peel. So I didn't know if I was going to peel or not. And I went to bed, and the next morning around my mouth and my nose, and I forgot to add, there's 3 peel pads that I had to use. So like the first day after the 4 hours, I rinsed it off with the cleanser. I put the peel pad on, and then I put the hydrocortisone cream on. And then 1 hour before bed, I used another peel pad. That morning, no peel pad. That afternoon/evening, 1 hour before bed, another peel pad. And so after that 3rd peel pad, I noticed it the next morning, and it was the kind of peel that, like, it wasn't like a big peel. If you've ever done like a Target foot mask where it comes off in like these huge chunks, that's not how my skin is doing. It's like peeling in these little areas, so much so it looks like hair coming out of my face, like, because it's really, really fine, like dead skin. And which I will account for, like, I get a facial twice a month, and one of those is usually a dermablading, so I shouldn't have like that much dry or dead skin on my face, because I am constantly like trying to regenerate my skin and do that cell turnover quick. So I wasn't expecting like thick pieces of skin. But Saturday, we had plans to hang out with Garrett's friends, and then we were gonna go downtown that night. And I constantly could not stop worrying about my face peeling. We went to Shields in Overland Park, Kansas, and it's a huge store. And there are several places with mirrors, and we were in the sunglasses section, and I catch a glimpse of myself. And the more you talk, the more your face like moves its muscles and breaks up the dry and the part that's like gonna peel off, right? Like the dead skin. And I looked in the mirror, I was like, oh my gosh, like it is starting to peel so bad. I'm sure I look absolutely crazy to some people. And I'm like trying to pick it off, which is kind of disgusting if you think about it, like picking at your skin And also you're not supposed to pull it off, you're supposed to cut it off. And it was just like this whole debacle. I am, like I said, day 4 in. My face is still peeling and it feels very tender. This morning I took a shower and I noticed the most skin cells coming off today. While I was in the shower, I, didn't really do anything with my actual skin, but when I got out, I used the cleanser, and since the shower softens your skin, it opens up your pores, all the things, I felt like I was really getting a lot of skin off. I was being gentle, but I could feel like the skin rolling on my fingers. I put on the hydrocortisone cream, which in reality should be soothing, and it was straight burning. Okay, it was very tingly, and then it had like this numbing effect. I was like, okay, that's how I know that my skin is actually like not damaged, because that's the whole point. Like, you're bringing up the new skin. It definitely felt tender, and I was like, normally when you get a sunburn and you put aloe on it and it kind of like burns for a second, if you put aloe on just like regular skin, like it's not cut, it's not broken, it's not burned, aloe feels good, like it feels fine, like there's nothing to it. But when your skin is like, has a sunburn and then you put aloe on it, it's painful. That's how my face felt. Like, it felt like I was applying aloe to a sunburn, and I was trying to be so gentle with myself. I have increased my water, not really increased, but I've been making sure I've been drinking my water, and I put a little salt in there, trying to stay hydrated, trying to stay out of the weather, stay out of the sun, because that's like rule number 1. You cannot be in the sun. I picked up these really cute headbands from Amazon. They were delayed a whole week. I get it, like we had weather, but it said because I did not have like the delivery instructions correct, and I was like, first off, come on, like the delivery instructions have been the front porch, like I've not switched our delivery instructions, so really that Amazon driver just didn't want to come, rightfully so, whatever. But they came a day late. Like, they came the day after I'd gotten my chemical peel, because I had been wanting my hair like slicked back and away from my face. And luckily the esthetician gave me a little like cotton, like their disposable ones. And I also, it kind of looked like it had self-tanner on it, because, with the product had like seeped into it and it was white. I wore that all the first day. It was so ugly. I was extremely happy when these like thick cotton bands came in. They're more durable, they're not disposable, and I've been wearing my hair like this for the past couple days. If you watched Friday's video, I looked pretty rough, like with my little headband. My face felt so tight and my hair was like a little dirty, but I digress. I've been loving the headband, like pulling my hair back. I used it for hot yoga earlier today. Like, I am loving the thick headband. I do feel like I'm in high school again, but it's been feeling good and it's been feeling fun, very girly. I have different colors. I got like brown and tan and gray, light gray, dark gray, a very neutral set, if you will. And I have been loving it. Like, they're the perfect little headband. So I've been using that every day. I cannot wait until after day 7 when I can actually like use my own skincare, because I have just felt so much dryness like around my mouth, around my lips, and I know that my Epion's face mask would feel so good, or even some bee oil, but I don't know if that's like counterbalance or counterintuitive, or even like missing the point, because when you get a chemical peel, it's supposed to feel dry. Like, your dead skin is literally trying to come off, or maybe it like helps kill the top part of the skin. I don't know, but I want to follow the instructions. I am deathly afraid of getting some sort of staph infection on my face, because I go to hot yoga, and although I'm using my own mat, I have not cleaned my mat. I should actually probably clean my mat this weekend, like spray it down, give her a little spritz. I've been using like a clean towel, but I just think of like bacteria, and since it's like such a new area, it's like baby skin, right? That's gonna sound gross, but it's brand new skin on my face. I want to make sure that we're protecting it. I want to make sure that we are not opening it up for bacteria and causing more problems than I originally intended. I do have a really cute pimple on the side of my cheek. I think it started to develop before my chemical peel. I don't know, but I was afraid to pop it. I personally, I just think leaving a pimple under your skin is prolonging the problem. For me, I rather just safely, I'm cleaning my fingers, making sure it's clean hands before I pop it. I try to use equal pressure. But as soon as that pus or that little pimple is out, I feel then it can start healing faster. But I was almost scared to pop it, because I was if I pop it, I don't want to damage my skin and then make it worse. So I'm feeling a little low confidence with my peeling face when we went out. We went to the bar. I personally, I don't really drink. I'm not participating in dry January. I just didn't feel the need to drink. I knew I had to be up early. So I didn't want to introduce alcohol. And I think your body is, I know that your body is a system, right? If things aren't working properly, then you are not going to have the best performance, right? So if I drink alcohol, I feel it could impact my skin, especially when I just got a chemical peel. So I was you know what, no alcohol. I don't know if it's true or not, but I was I am not going to mix my dry skin with alcohol. So we're just avoiding it. It was fine. I had a great time. I made sure to cleanse afterwards, but I just as everyone would come up to me, people I know, they're hey, how's it going? And every time I was is my face peeling? The more I talk, is it breaking up the skin and just looking absolutely disgusting? So I don't know. I will be so happy when it's all done and I no longer have to worry about the skin falling off, and I just have perfect, beautiful skin. So yeah, that's what I've been dealing with the skin aspect. Let's get into my peaks and the pit of the week. My peak of the week is I'm planning a Valentine's Day for the Golden Gal Network. I got to check out a venue last Friday. I was so excited. It's going to be in Overland Park. So I had to drive up there, sign the lease for the day or the contract or whatever. It's big, it's beautiful. It has a fireplace. I am thinking we're gonna do charm necklaces. I've seen charm necklaces all over. And while I like a charm bracelet or even friendship bracelets, because those are also very in right now, I personally do not like things on my wrist. I hardly, I don't even have my Apple Watch on right now because I have just been getting the ick from things being on my wrist and being kind of constricting. I don't know, but I don't feel the same with a necklace. So I want to do charm necklaces. I think it would be fun. And then we're gonna obviously have Valentine's Day treats and bites and things, beverages, mocktails, all the things that just make the environment so cozy and good. I think I might be playing a cup, not, I don't know, maybe a love movie, romance movie. Why was that so hard to come to? Maybe a romance movie will be playing on the background, something that is, you've seen it so many times, How to Lose a Guy in 10 Days. Nobody necessarily has pay attention to that, but have that playing in the background, or maybe a love playlist. And then we are absolutely going to be having games. I'm kind of in my games era, or even interacting with people. I want to ask questions. I want to get to know people on a deeper level. So I think that we're gonna have a question aspect as we're beating together our necklaces. I also think just interactive games to get people out of their shell. The whole point of the network is to meet new friends and new people, and this is going to be the perfect way. I actually, the last Valentine's Day I experienced was in 2018, and that was in college. And after that, I really haven't had a Valentine's Day since then. And I figured Saturday, February 10th was going to be the perfect time. It's a day before the football game. Or is the football game on Monday? The Super Bowl, whenever that is, I wanted to make sure that we weren't going to compete with that. I also felt too stressed doing it like the first weekend of February because I'm going to Chicago with Lily. We're going to go see Eli Rallo's book tour. We're going and seeing her little live show. And then February 3rd is Golden Hour Drip's 4th birthday. Holy shit, 4th birthday. I cannot believe it. And I was feeling a bit overwhelmed. So I pushed it to the 10th. And then I didn't want to do it on actual Valentine's Day on February 13th because I have a big trip coming up on the 14th and I will be flying out. So I was feeling stressed, okay? And maybe this isn't good, but I experienced like the stress before the stress actually hits. And I always have to remind myself, like, are you going to worry about this and like put yourself through it twice, right? Like, are we going to stress about this twice? Or can we like let go and let God? So I'm working on that. And I figured the best way to trust that everything is going to work out for me is to eliminate the stress and trying to fit too much in one little weekend. You know, I love to do too much, but sometimes we got to set the boundary and not do too much. So Valentine's Day coming for the Golden Gal Network. If you're in the Kansas City or surrounding areas, like, check us out on Instagram. Come to our, next event if you can't make the Valentine's Day. And yeah, that's definitely my peak. We got the venue secured. I actually already have our March event venue secured as well, so I'm excited for that too. I am just like checking things off my list. I'm feeling really good about that. Like, just check, check, check. I'm feeling good. We are not stressing ourselves out and we are pre-planning for the future. So I'm feeling good about that. My peak was, we're on my pit. My pit of the week was I wanted to secure, I'm very like going to in-person events lately. Like, I want to support the people that I look up to, the people that I love seeing on social media, like Eli Rallo. Like, I loved her book and I love her TikToks and I listen to her podcast. Like, I want to go see her book tour live show. I saw Skinny Confidential last May for my birthday. I went to the Powerhouse Women event in Scottsdale, Arizona. Like, I went to the Gals on the Go event in November. I don't know. Like, I love going to the shows and supporting my very favorite people. And I really, really want to see Brooke and Tana for their canceled podcast. I've been very in like the visual podcast and they're one of the ones that I watch. So they just released their tickets for the canceled tour. And I did think, okay, like, should I go to the Kansas City one? And I did look at getting tickets there, but my little sister also, she's usually my little buddy to go with me. And they're actually having one in her college town. And I was like, hell yeah. Like, let's go to your college town and like watch it together. Personally, like, that's fun. Like, I love Kansas City and I love going to events in Kansas City, but if I have an excuse to go see my little sister, like, I'm gonna go see her, right? So I texted her, I was like, hey, I tried to call her and she was in class. I was like, you have no other like responsibilities or life besides me? So no, I'm just kidding. And she's like, hey, I'm in class, what's up? I went to college. I know that you necessarily don't want to be texting on your phone in class. And I texted her, I was like, hey, like, do you want to go to this tour? It's going to be in your like college town. Like, what do you think? She didn't reply. And I was like, oh, hell no. Like, I'm getting tickets. Okay, she's going to come no matter what. And I hopped on there and they're selling out so quick. I was like, we've got to get tickets. So I went, I got tickets and I put them in my car. I purchased them. It said we were in row R or whatever. I was like, okay, it's not the front row. The front, like, there's like different sections, right? And the floor or the orchestra or whatever the hell it was, there was no seats. There was like one seat available. And I was like, well, I can't get a single seat. So I got seats in the best, like, next best section. So I went and I ordered those tickets, bought the tickets. And then I was like, okay, we got the tickets. I said that to myself. I had not texted her yet. And I went back to, because I wanted to see like what row and where we were at so I could send her a photo and be like, this is where we're gonna be. Have you been to this like art center before or whatever? And I went back to go see where our seats were because I didn't take a photo of that. And when I refreshed, the front had 2 seats in like the first section. It was like row L instead of R. I was like, oh, put those in my cart, and I also purchased those tickets. So I have 4 tickets to see the canceled show, and I'm like, all right, like, I guess here's my dilemma. I can tell Lily, hey, invite your friends, but they're gonna have to sit in the other row, and that's like not fun. Like if I invite Lily and I'm like, oh yeah, and your friends can come, but they have to sit in like row R. I don't know, maybe I'm overthinking it. Or I could be like, okay, Lily, like you can sit with one of your friends in row R. Like I'm sitting in row L. I don't know. I want the best seat available. So I'm gonna have to check both views, see which one is gonna be like the best view of the stage. Because sometimes even if you're like closer, if you're at a bad angle, like you can't see it. And that is so annoying. And I don't want that to happen to me. Hey, I hope that you're enjoying today's podcast episode. Just a quick interruption to let you know that Golden Hour Drip has a weekly newsletter that comes out. This has bonus content, weekly updates, and future event information. If you haven't already, go down to the show notes, click the link, and join today. Now, back to the show. And I am so happy that I was able to get like tickets that were closer, but I did 2 transactions. I bought 4 tickets to a show, and I'm either gonna have to bring like a friend, like I doubt Garrett would want to go, but like me bring a friend and Lily bring a friend, and then I sit in L and she sits in H. I don't know how it's gonna work out, but if you're in the Cedar Rapids area or you want tickets to the show, shoot me a DM. Maybe I'll sell you my second tickets. My second set of tickets. That was a little bit of a tongue twister, but I am really excited to see Tana. I have always kind of been aware of Tana on like the podcast. I remember watching like her YouTubes back when I was like in college, which is so close and yet so far away. And she is like really funny, really sweet. She is controversial though. Her podcast is literally called Canceled. But I do like watching her videos, and I think she's really fun and sweet, and so is Brooke. Like, I don't know, I enjoy their podcast and I enjoy their banter. I think it's great. I think it's fun. And I can't wait to see them. It is like actually like it's definitely pre-planned, but it gives me something to look forward to come springtime, which is going to be around the corner. January has actually kind of felt like very long. I feel like November and December were like extra quick. I had a lot going on, and January I have felt every single day of January, which has been good. Like I'm happy to feel every single day, but I'm like, oh, like we're still in January. It also has 31 days. So it's like, oh, like of course it's going to feel longer. It has 31 days, and February is going to be like a blink of an eye. Although, are we in a leap year? I'm pretty sure we're in a leap year and there's an extra day in February, so it will feel 1 day longer, but really and truly February is always a blink. And since I'm going on a big trip to Florida, it's going to seem even shorter. And then having the Golden Gal Network event, and honestly like a bunch of my friends are throwing like Valentine's Day events, whether it is through their business or like just what they want to do. So I'm getting all my, gal pals together and Valentine's Day themes, and it's the month of love. So we're getting through January, okay? I am loving every part of January, but when February comes around, I will be happy to see her as well. This episode, I just want to do like a little checking in. I want you, it's a catch up. It's what's happening in my life, what's going on, the things that I am loving. And I thought it'd be kind of fun to have like a couple categories and then go through it. Kind of like a questionnaire for me, but also just like things that I've been absolutely loving doing. And let's start with an in and an out. I did a big in and out for, 2024, like coming into 24. But like my ins and outs for this week, like the things that I am loving right now and the things that I'm actually like deciding, hey, we're kicking that to the curb. And something that is very in for me and something that I've been doing regularly is chamomile tea before bed. Now, I cannot decide if it is actually giving me like this fake sense of like sleepiness and then like I wake up in the middle of the night, because I will say the couple nights that I did have the chamomile tea, I don't think I waited long enough before bed and I crashed. I fell asleep so fast, which is great because usually it takes me a very long time to fall asleep. Like with Garrett snoring and everything happening in my head, it takes me quite some time to fall asleep. I also utilize this time to read my book. I think if I were to optimize my life in a better way, I would save my morning for reading books instead of my nighttime, like waking up and instead of like pulling for my phone. And I've been working on this, no phone 2 hours after you wake up, or as close as possible to 2 hours. And then reading a book instead, I think that would be helpful, but I will stay up and I will read my book, or I'll scroll on TikTok or do any of those things, which I'm trying so hard to break, but it's just so easy, right? And if my Kindle, because I use my Kindle on my phone, maybe this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to download the Kindle app on my iPad. I don't have like a Kindle, device. I don't have a Kindle device. I just pay for Kindle Unlimited on my phone, and I read and I scroll and I do all the things. But maybe I should do it on my iPad and put my phone like in the bathroom or something so it's away from me, so I don't like, oh, let me go to TikTok, oh, let me go to social media, oh, let me do this, and stay up too late. But with the chamomile, I've drink it before bed, and it's so fun because we have the Breville coffee machine. I can like get hot water from it. Like I don't have to boil hot water on the stove. I don't put it in the microwave or anything like that, because I actually hate putting a mug of water in the microwave to heat it up. Like to me that just sounds wrong. So I don't want to like put it in the microwave for a minute 30. I feel like the mug gets hotter than the water, and then by the time the water is hot enough, your mug, you can barely hold on to it. And the Breville coffee machine that I got, I got the Bambino. I just like put my mug and I put a little bit of honey at the bottom. I press the hot water and it streams in there and melts my honey. And then I have to press it a second time to fill it up like the rest of the way. By that time, I have my tea bag in there. It's seeping, it's doing its thing. It is so cozy to have like a warm glass of water. It's hot, like it's hot water. It's not warm. I have to wait for it to cool a little bit, or like completely sears off my mouth. But the smell of chamomile is so relaxing, and to just like have this little mug and sip it while we're like finishing up with our evening, I've been loving it. It's also like it's a whole vibe. Like I love warm beverages, and since my feet are cold all the time, like literally I have slippers on, I have thick socks, and my feet are kind of cold. And I know that this is not great. And if we think about like, if your feet are cold, like your womb is cold, like things like that, it's not good if you follow like Chinese medicine. So I'm trying everything I can to do warming foods and keep myself at a reasonable level. And this is helping with it. Like I grab my little mug of chamomile tea and I cozy up. It's almost as good as a cup of coffee. Not quite, but almost. But a few nights, I feel like it made me like go to sleep so quickly, and then I woke up like at, I don't know, 12 o'clock, like midnight. I'd only been asleep for a couple hours, or 2 o'clock or something. I'm like, crap, like is it counterintuitive? Like is it not actually helping me in the way that I think that it's helping me? Because I took melatonin in high school, and I would take it and then wake up in the middle of the night and could not go to sleep. So melatonin is definitely not good for me. It doesn't work for me. I have not been taking magnesium actually for the last couple months. So maybe I should incorporate that back into my routine, because magnesium I think actually does help me sleep. Like I don't know, my magnesium levels are pretty low usually. So I think that helps supplement and get me to bed. Maybe I'll try that. My outs for the week is commercial coffee. Okay, back to the Brewville. Okay, I love it. I went and got commercial coffee, and it was pretty good. But when I drank it, I was like, you know what would make this better? If I had chosen the coffee to actually go into this cup of coffee, right? Like, you never know what you're getting when you go to a little local coffee shop, which I love. Okay, like I love the aesthetic, I love the vibe, I love meeting people for coffee. But I was like, man, like I customize it to exactly what I want. And I also only do like 2 shots of espresso. I don't do 4 shots. So when I order a large, I'm not thinking, oh my gosh, like it's 4 shots of espresso. I'm just thinking I want a large because it's like the large amount of milk. I don't know. Like commercial coffee to me, it's out. I've been loving coffee at home. Maybe that will change come summertime, but I don't know. I'm kind of in love with it. Like I even think like during summertime, if I can just like find a really cute cup to put ice in to have an iced coffee, an iced beverage, I think I'll be set. I think that'll be good. Now, what I'm reading, I just want to normalize people reading at a normal pace. I personally am a very, very fast reader. I like reading things quickly. I like consuming content, consuming books. But something that I realized is I feel like when I was a kid, I was a little bit better at visualizing the book while I was reading. And I feel like now with everyone reading books so quickly and posting these huge like book hauls, which I love a book haul, okay? I love to see what they're reading. I love to see the reviews. I just think that when you have this huge expectation or pressure on yourself to read X amount of books in a certain time, because I think people are blowing it out of proportion. Like a goal to read 20 books in 1 year, I think that's a reasonable and very healthy goal. Reading 150 books in a year, I think that's almost toxic. Like that might be unpopular, but I just don't think that, at least for me, that would be a good goal for me. I feel like although I'm a fast reader and I could achieve that, I don't want to consume that much content. Like I want to have like time to just really appreciate the book that I'm reading. And if I have this expectation that I have to read like the next book, or I have to keep on with my book logs, and I have to like have these contests with other people on like what they're reading, what I'm reading, and how I can like read faster than them, and oh my gosh, I read that book in a day. Like it's a badge of honor almost, but I feel like it's getting really close to fast fashion. Like it's teetering the line on, is this like overconsumption? How can we instead like bring back like the true meaning of reading, which is like experiencing a world that is outside of your own, taking yourself out of your own situation, your own day-to-day, and finding comfort or finding a safe haven in a book. Like to me, that is what reading is all about. I am immersing myself in this book, and I am feeling what the characters are feeling, and I am going through their storyline. And I feel that if I read too quickly or just try to get through the book, I'm not visualizing the book as well. I remember as a kid, I think it was like 10 years old, and I was reading in my room, and I was reading actually Junie B. Jones. I love those books. And I have this vivid memory of reading this book, and then I had to go do something for my mom. And I came back to my room and I was like, what was I doing? I was watching a movie, wasn't I? And I wasn't actually watching a movie. I was reading my book. Like that's how immersed I was in it. That's how much I was visualizing and just like creating the storyline in my head. And I think back, and I truly think that it's like a shortened attention span with the social media that I consume. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like actually, I don't think this is good for me to like try and consume too many books. Like I need to be present. I need to be with the book at hand. And maybe I do need to do a social media cleanse. Maybe I do need to remove it, have a couple days where I don't go with TikTok or social media at all. I've removed Facebook and I've removed Snapchat from my phone. I'm not on those platforms at the moment. Also Be Real. I'm not on Lemon 8. The only apps I have is TikTok, Instagram, and Threads, and YouTube. Actually, YouTube, I've been watching a lot of YouTube. I kind of love it. But maybe I need to do a day or two with no social media. I think that might be good. And to immerse myself in a book better, right? Instead of like scrolling on my phone, like picking up the book right next to me and getting into it, right? Like just a longer attention span. And the book that I've started reading is The Happy Ever After Playlist. It's by Abby Jimenez. It's so sweet. It's about a dog, okay? If you are a dog lover, if you are all for adopting pets, this book is for you, okay? It's a love story. I've just started it. So far, so good. I did just finish up with the Good Girl Complex. It took me about 2 weeks to finish. I think that's an appropriate amount of time. It was like that's on Kindle Unlimited. The Happy Ever After I actually borrowed from my mom. And so it's a physical book. Also, can we normalize like sharing books instead of everybody having to have like the same like hard copy book? I don't know, like we need to be sharing more. We need to be swapping books and not necessarily like reading so quickly. I don't know, maybe that's just my opinion. Maybe you think that this is like a good habit for you. I love it for you, but truly, I don't know, it overwhelms me, to be honest. So I'm reading The Happy Ever After Playlist, and hopefully in 2 weeks I will finish this book, right? Like I'm being gentle with myself. I'm not going to worry about Kindle for the next 2 weeks. I'm just going to focus on one book, and I'm going to read the book, and I will have a book review for you, in 2 weeks or so. No pressure on me, just whenever I get to it. Okay, so what I'm watching currently, watching a lot of YouTube. I'm watching The Toast, okay? That is a podcast that I am absolutely loving, okay? Love. It has been so good. I've also been watching Suits. We watched Suits like this past fall, and we kind of like had other shows to watch, and we've started watching the Suits again, which I do love Suits, okay? But I think Garrett's gonna have to take a pause on that because The Bachelor is coming out, and I am super excited for this. I have not watched The Bachelor or The Bachelorette in at least a year, if not, I think it could be 2 seasons of each one. I watched Paradise. I love Paradise always. I think the multiple storylines are good. I did watch The Golden Bachelor. I didn't watch like the last couple episodes. I feel like I had gotten behind and then it was spoiled. I did watch part of the Golden Wedding. So I'm gonna give the Bachelor franchise one more chance. I wanna watch The Bachelor. I think that the golf pro, I forget his name. Okay, it's probably because I haven't seen it yet. They haven't released the first episode by the time this podcast has came out. The first episode will have came out. I'm excited to meet him. I'm excited to see his story. I wonder how they incorporate, his golf pro season. But I like the idea of introducing more public eye people and their quest to find love instead of people going on The Bachelor or Bachelorette to get famous, to get followers instead of falling in love. So I think that this season actually might be more for the real reasons because he already has money. He's already kind of in the public eye. He's already famous. Although I haven't seen him do a tennis match before, but I think that this season will be different than all the other ones. And maybe he does have some like more well-known contestants on the Bachelor, or maybe he doesn't. Maybe they're all average girls and they do just want to get famous or find, their sugar daddy, whatever. Like, but I'm here for it. Like, I am ready to watch it. So might have to take a pause on some of the YouTube I've been watching and the toast, and instead we're focusing. I know like The Bachelor is only like once a week, but honestly the episodes are kind of long, so I feel like I break it up in sessions. Like I'll watch part of it on Monday, watch the other part on Tuesday, and then I'm like, oh, like, okay, that was 2 days. Or like watch it partially Monday, watch it partially Thursday, whenever, okay? But I do feel like that will take up some time in my life, right? Like, you only have so many hours in the day and only like so many shows to watch. So we're gonna have to, you know, take a couple out. Plus, we're about to get busy. Like February, 14th, I just told you I had a whole bunch of Valentine's Day plans to do. And now, The Bachelor is coming out. The next one is nighttime routine must-have. My must-have currently has been an eye mask. I don't know what it is, but with all the snow, it has been glaring into our bedroom, okay? Like, it's not even like a full moon or anything like that, but literally whatever sort of light source is outside is immediately amplified by the snow. And I honestly, like, I need complete silence. I need complete darkness. I want to be slipping into the vibes of it's nighttime, okay? As quickly as possible. I do not want to be, up. I want to go to sleep, okay? I want it to be dark. I want it to be cozy. And I want a solid 8 hours of sleep. I definitely like my sleep. I think it's so good. But the snow, we have a lot of snow right now. And they are saying like it's gonna melt soon. But we've had snow for a good 3 weeks, two and a half, 3 weeks. I've been loving it. I think it's great. It's amazing. No, maybe it's been closer to like 4 weeks, but it's just been glaring in our bedroom, and maybe we need better curtains. Like, I get that. Maybe we do, but a sleep mask solves that problem. I just pop it on, pop it over my eyes, and I get it. Like, sometimes like the sleep mask might fly off my face, like halfway through sleeping, but at least I'm asleep, right? Like, I don't mind the sun waking me up, but I do mind the, moon and the glare from the snow keeping me awake, right? Not a good thing. And speaking of, a glare, my cell phone, okay? Like, I already told you about books, but I do want to there's a term I saw the other day, and it's a screenager. And it's referring to like a teenager attached to their screen. And although I am past my teenhood, right? I'm 25, I'll be 26 in May. I'm definitely past my teenhood, but there are times that I feel like I'm completely addicted and attached to my screen. And I saw this and it was like, stop being a screenager and paint with your friends, right? And it was like, do a craft, do a hobby. Like, stop being a screenager, stop living your life completely online, and do something for fun that is in real life and actually matters and has like more human connection to it. And I was like, oh my gosh, like, how right is that? Like, we were recently discussing, in the future, if we have children, like, some of our very close friends are pregnant right now. And that always gives Garrett and I the perfect opportunity to discuss what we will do when we're parents, right? Like, what boundaries are we going to set in place? And I know things will change if we do ever get pregnant and have children. Like, our ideas will change and shift, and what we think is important might not be as important. But I know, like, growing up, we did not have, like, we didn't watch TV every night. We did not have our phones all the time. We did activities. We went outside, we played, we had hobbies inside, crafts, sewing, we painted, we painted our nails, we painted paintings, like, I don't know, like, we drew, we wrote, we did so much. And I think back to that time, and I was not a screenager. Like, I loved my phone, I loved texting people, but it was still pretty new, and we played. We had more time to explore hobbies. And I think to now, and I'm like, oh my gosh, like, Garrett and I almost always turn on the TV at night. Like we watch something before we settle down before bed. And I was talking with him, I was like, oh my gosh, like, you know, when we have children, like we were talking about toys, and we were talking about how, you know, some parents have like all monochromatic toys, other parents like have colorful toys, and we were discussing on, you know, will we allow our kids to have like a lot of toys? And my stance personally, I won't share Garrett's, but my stance is they only really get toys for like 6 or 7 years, right? Like they are only a child until like 8 and 9, 10, like they're starting to be a preteen, and then they're not as focused on toys. Personally, I think children should have as many toys as possible, and not toys in the way like, oh, it's a stimulating toy where it's like lights and talking and all of those things, but even like a toy can be considered a pad of paper and like a pen. I remember having like glitter pens and pads of paper at a very young age, as soon as I could start holding a pen, right? That could be considered a toy. Painting can be considered a toy. Arts and crafts, whatever. And I was like, I really don't think that I will be letting our children have iPads. Even though I have an iPad, I already know how addicted I am to my own iPad, right? Like playing music or playing a podcast to listen in the background, or a YouTube or whatever. And I was thinking, oh my gosh, like YouTube suggests like a video like one after another, and you can get like consumed with that. Netflix can also, or like Hulu, like it suggests another video after it. And I'm like, man, like when's the time for a break? Like when's the time to be like playing and doing all the things? And really and truly, like as a society, we are more connected as ever. We have more knowledge at our hands, but how much of that are we consuming and not creating? And I was like, golly, like I'm a bit of an iPad kid. I'm a bit of a screenager. Even though I am 25, I'm very much connected to my phone. And I don't think that this is just for the younger generation. I also think that the older generation can struggle with this at times, right? Like constantly scrolling on Facebook, or, texting or watching videos themselves, right? So I don't think that it is one problem or another, like it's just this generation or it's just that generation. I think as society as a whole, like we definitely have a screen time problem, right? And I was like, oh my gosh, like what can I be doing that is more fun, that's more immersive, that's more creative? And like podcasting is definitely creative. Like I'm sitting here and I'm talking to you for an hour about like my thoughts and my ideas. So that definitely is like a creative aspect, although I'm using technology. Painting. For the last 2 Friday nights, I have painted something. Are those things great? Absolutely not. They are not, perfect. But I have been painting for the last 2 Fridays and just creating on paper. I think that if we can find hobbies and things to do, like this past Sunday, I went to a bar class with 3 of my friends, and then afterwards we went and got breakfast. Guess how many times I picked up my phone? Once. I think to show a photo, literally to show a photo. But I was interacting, I was creating, I was living my life. I wasn't necessarily like attached to anything. And I also think that like January has been kind of slow for me. And with that, I can either take it as like, oh, like perfect time to scroll on social media, or I can take it as this is the time to be restful. I don't have to be tethered to my phone. I don't have to be like waiting for something to like come to me or constantly like refreshing. I could be using this time to be reading books at a normal pace, or painting, or journaling, cleaning, decluttering, I don't know, connecting with my partner. There's so many things that I could be doing that is not connected to my phone. And so right now I just want to be so present, and I want to be living my life in the best way as possible. And I know there's been a lot of trends like coming up, and personally, like, I am a trend follower. I don't think trends are bad. They are gonna be a constant, right? And I joke about, oh, mom aesthetic is in, or, I love my Stanley Cup. Like, I definitely follow the trends and the aesthetics. But I also want to develop my own style. I want to develop the things that make me happy, and go to a thrift store and find something that maybe isn't as common, or even things that I already have in my closet. So I guess for me, like, a little check-in update is I'm continuously like trying to figure out me and to spend more time with myself and doing creative acts that build myself up, that open my brain and my mindset and all the things. And those are my ins and outs. Those are my peaks, my pits. Those are what I've been doing with my time lately. And I've been loving it. And I can't wait to see what February brings. It's just around the corner. I know it's gonna come slow because January has been slow, but that's where I'm at right now, and I can't wait to see what's coming for the rest of 2024. The first month has been great so far. So yeah, thank you so much for listening to today's episode. Friday's episode, we're doing Ask the Gals. So if you have a question or a comment or a topic that you would love for it to be up for discussion on the Golden Hour Drip podcast, go ahead and submit those. You can email at goldenhourdrip.com. I'm sorry, that was wrong. It's at Golden Hour on Instagram. You can DM, or you can email me, goldenhourdrip@gmail.com. Anyways, thank you so much for watching, listening, wherever you are, whatever platform you are on, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye!